So here we go. So brilliant.
There
we
you
go.
are.
We're live now. So thank you, Jing, for introducing yourself just there. Just to recap, now the recording is live. Dr. Jing Shao is the program director for our postgraduate economics suite of programs, and is going to tell us, give us lots of insight into these courses today. Also joining us today, we've got Namdi. Namdi, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hello, this is Namdi Waka. I'm a current student on postgraduate studies in economics. I'm from Nigeria. Thank you.
Thanks, Namdi. Yeah, so really good to have Namdi along, coming all the way from Nigeria to Swansea to study economics. And yeah, we'll have some really good conversation with Namdi as we go today as well. So as has often really or always been the case with these webinars, we like to do a little introduction just to who we are. You might know Swansea very well anyway. You might be a current student with us. But if you don't, this is us on the map. You can see us in the southwest of Wales. We are located, obviously, as you can see, by the coast. It's a pretty nice location. We're not far from Cardiff. We're about 3 hours from London as well. So it's certainly a good spot to be, that's for sure. So that's where we are. What about us as a university? Well, we're split over 2 campuses. So we have our Bay campus and we have our Singleton Park campus as well. The Bay campus is where we are in the School of Management. It's where the economics department is as well. And there's the School of Management for you to see. You might notice, looking at the pictures, that everything looks pretty modern. It's true. The Bay campus was only opened in 2016, I think it was. So about 4 years old or so now. And of course, the School of Management is part of the furniture at the Bay campus, where we're joined by engineering and the College of Science too. And lots of our industrial partners are based here as well. So, you know, there is a huge amount going on this campus. Singleton Park campus, it's not far away either. It's home to various other colleges, law, arts and humanities, and moving away from the academic side of things for a moment, quite a lot of sporting facilities are down there as well. So it's not too far away. And I should say, most excitingly, we are still in our centenary year. So yeah, it's our 100th birthday. So the 2020-21 academic year, those of you who are with us now, who might be joining us very soon as well, you know, it's an exciting time to be part of the community at Swansea University. That much is true. So we're here today to talk about our 2 postgraduate economics courses. So of course there is the MSc in Economics and the MSc in Economics and Finance. And we're going to get some insight from Namdi and from Dr. Jing Shao as well, as to some of the experiences, some of the opportunities, and some of the exciting things that will happen on these programs too. And I think, you know, before we go diving into the session, the one thing to really focus on when we're looking at these programs is expertise. You know, the reason that you'd be studying a postgraduate economics course is to really master the area of economics that you're interested in. You know, these are specialist programs for graduates who've already studied economics or a related subject and want to really get up to the next level. So throughout the session, you know, we want your questions all the way through. Don't just wait till the end. You know, let's hear from you. So if you're watching on Zoom, use that Q&A tab. You should see it. I've tried to put the arrow there, but towards the bottom of your screen, you'll see a Q&A tab. You can also use the chat function if that's easier. If you're watching on Facebook Live, comment underneath, and my colleague Rebecca is on hand to direct your questions, your comments, and your observations to us in the Zoom room. And of course, if you're watching the recorded version of this session, then remember you can get in touch with us at any point. So there's the email address, studysom@swansea.ac.uk. You know, any point of the year, you know, we're more than happy to hear from you guys. So yeah, we've got plenty to go through today. And I think let's start perhaps by just looking a little bit at the value and specialization. This is something, you know, that we've just discussed, obviously, in looking at the sort of fact that this is a special course. This is a course for people who have already studied economics as an undergraduate degree. So in putting this session together, and we'll have a little chat now, it was quite hard to nail down 3 real key values in specializing, because there's loads. But I think the 3 things which are most important to bear in mind in specializing in the field of economics is, well, you'll certainly be able to master the business world. Remember, economics is all about choices. It's about making the right decision at the right time, something that's hugely advantageous in business. As well as that, of course, you'll be at the forefront of innovative research, and there's a lot of that going on in Swansea University at the moment, as we'll discuss shortly. Some really exciting seminars and things going on too. And last but certainly not least, and it's one of many things I wanted to add to this list, you're able to, you'll have the opportunity to really sort of influence policy, to shape policy. That could be on a government level, or it could be on an industrial level. It could even be, again, within business, as we discussed earlier. So I'm going to break from the slides for a second and perhaps hand over to Jing. Jing, on a sort of basic level, why study economics at postgraduate level? What sort of advantages are there to be had from really specializing in postgraduate economics?
Thanks, James. I think you got the really good points for the value added, because we are living in a society. We are living in a society since changed every day. It's the changes are so quick and so huge, and makes change to everybody's lives as well. So studying master economics will allow you to look into this change, look into these phenomena, understanding what happens, and using what you studied to see the patterns behind it, to see the logics behind these phenomena. So then you will understand the society. You will see how your understanding would help people to change, and also how, like the last one you listed there, shape the policies and use what you learned and you understand to make implications to the real world, and that is very, very important.
Definitely, yeah. Thanks, Jing. And we've got obviously 2020 has been quite the year. And there's a lot of issues going on at the moment in economics. Should we have a quick look at these, Jing? I know we had a really good chat the other day about some of the the issues that we're all facing at the moment, and I think one of the main ones, it has to be related to COVID-19. We discussed sort of the recovery the other day, and something you were particularly focused on was consumption and how it's reduced, and some of the effects of that. Is that right, Jing?
Yes. The 4 points you listed here actually they link to both macroeconomics and microeconomics, which I think is really brilliant, because for the macroeconomics level, like the government debt and the GDP growth, so how this COVID-19 would relate it to the macroeconomic level, how the government would obviously these debts they borrowed from the bank, and how would the government to recover this debt, and how would government to use the policies to boost the economy, so then the government could receive revenues from the tax, so then to repay this debt. And to the microeconomics level, the unemployment, and then the consumption. Obviously, the COVID-19 influenced many people's jobs. Some people lost their job due to this lockdown, due to the quarantine policies. So people lost their jobs, and leading to the income reduced. So correspondingly, with the income reduced, then people will reduce their consumption as well, because the budget constraint was there, and then they can't afford lots of consumptions as euro. So people's consumption reduced, and that will reflect on GDP growth as well, because we know consumption is a very important factor and the element in contributing to the GDP growth. Then with people's consumption reduced, how that would influence the GDP. to a macro level. So you see, although we saw news on TV about COVID-19 every day, and how we understand these, how we understand the influence from the economics perspective, so then we would be wiser, we would be more knowledgeable to understand, and also to help people around us to make them feel more confident, more confident about their lives, about their decisions, and also about our own lives as well.
Definitely, yeah. So, you know, in a microcosm there, this is, you know, as we can see on screen, real economic issues that, and as Jing's given a really good sort of introduction into how the skills that particularly a sort of specialist postgraduate economics degree, those skills can be applied to real, you know, hugely significant historical current issues. Jing, sort of in discussing kind of the value of studying economics at this level, and of course some of these current issues, what sort of person would you say should be considering studying postgraduate economics? What kind of skills would you say you need to really master not just the course in Swansea, but economics as a discipline at postgraduate level?
Thanks, James. That's a very good question. I think that's for myself, if I consider to take an MSc Economics study, the first question I'll ask myself is why I will study the subject and what I expected to receive from this 1 year training. I think for you, if you're interested in the society, in understanding the society, if you would like to help people, and if you would like to make the society improve, and you have the key what should I describe? You have the key character to study economics. You have the enthusiasm to study economics, because economics, the main purpose of studying economics is help you to understand the society, help you to shape the policies, help you to help people living in the society. So if interested understanding these issues, and you're interested in shaping the science, and then you have the character to study, and then with the trainings in that year, with the microeconomics series, the macroeconomics series, the quantitative skills you received, so then you can carry out an investigation using the data you collect, and then build the models, and then to see the implications, to see inside of this event, of this the things happen around us every day. So that's it. That's for you to study MSc Economics.
Perfect. No, and thank you, Jing. And on that note, you know, we've discussed sort of the character you need and the motivation you need, but just, you know, in stepping up from undergraduates, perhaps, you know, an undergraduate degree in economics to the postgraduate level, how big a step is that? You know, is it a big challenge? Is it going to be extremely different, or how would you reassure, I suppose, people who are slightly worried about making that step up?
Obviously, the challenge is there. The challenge is that's the purpose of delivering a master study, and also the ability, or I would say the margin you received from that 1 year study is well, I would say enormous. It's very very helpful to your future career as well. But we try to smooth the beginning as much as we can. So we provide students with pre-sessional maths to help you prepare for your theoretical study, so your theoretical analysis ability, and also for the modules in the first term. At the beginning, we will recap something from your undergraduate level, so then you can pick up the things very quickly. And for this step up, I would say that your undergraduate study helps you to look into the phenomenon, or to recognize, yes, that's an economic issue, and I know how I could shape that in the economic perspective. But into your MSc study, you have you're building the ability to investigate what's happening behind it, and what will be the theories, what will be the implications behind it.
Brilliant. Thank you, Jing. And I'm going to bring in on this note Namdi, who's also with us today. So yeah, thanks Namdi for coming along. Now Namdi, you've got a great story, obviously having come from Nigeria to Swansea to study the MSc in Economics, and that's a brilliant photo, by the way, as well. So Namdi, I suppose, you know, we want to hear your story really, but Namdi, how did you find yourself studying economics in the first place, and what made you want to take the masters in economics?
Thank you once again for having me here. Actually, economics has always been my dream course. It's something I want to build a career on. It's not just as a subject or a program, it's a career. I've always had this, flair and interest for research, for analysis, for modeling. And so from my young age, I've always, been into things that involves research. So I had to, while studying, I had to, further my studies and education, in that area. Economics is quite interesting, just like Jane has said. We get to model economic phenomena. We get to look at the present situations in the economy and in the society. We get to use our systematic skills and analysis to bring about these problems, and as well give some solutions to them. I studied economics in my undergraduate level at University of Abuja, and it was great. It was awesome. I have a good background in economics, and that has also spurred my interest into furthering my studies, in economics in the master's level. And of course, in the master's level, you get to go deeper. You get to get on a deeper understanding of what the macro and microeconomics is all about, and that's what we deal on in economics. We get to understand theories and how these theories are applied in the real world. Basically they are most times assumptions, but you can't take assumptions out from your reality. Sometimes you need to just think, and when you think, those are assumptions you're making. So as you think, you're creating logic, and from whatever you're able to make out, you apply it in the real world. So that's what economics does, and it's quite interesting. I believe every human being thinks. Every human being is rational, just as we have it in economics. So that will also give you that, having that, line of thought will always want to interest you in economics.
No, that's fantastic, Namdi. And generally speaking, how have you found making the step up from studying economics previously in Abuja in Nigeria to studying economics, one, as a postgraduate degree in Swansea, and two, amid what is a very challenging climate at the moment with COVID-19 as well. How have you found the first term?
Yeah, it's been interesting, though. Every step will surely have its challenge, but it's quite interesting. Like I said, I didn't want to just stop on the graduate level, and that's why I decided to go further on the master's level. And one thing that has decided or groomed my decision is that I certainly want to have a change of environment. Environment again matters, because you get to see another side of life and bring in whatever you had in the past, and you kind of compare and add to whatever is already on ground. So whilst I want to go further in economics, I also want to have a view of life in another aspect, and that prompted my desire, or my desire to come to Swansea. And of course, my coming to Swansea, it's the right step in the right direction. I must confess, I've really, really seen a lot, and I'm exploring a lot, and it's really giving me that a broader view of what I really want, and it's quite interesting and encouraging.
Oh, that's brilliant, and it's great for us, Namdi, that you're so passionate about the course that you're willing to come here and speak today to everyone who's watching this session. So yeah, it's great. We'll hear more from you in a moment, Nnamdi. We've got lots more questions for you, Nnamdi. One thing we wanted to sort of show I suppose to emphasize the environment that is here in Swansea is that well, there's lots of things going on within the department. Jing knows better than me, but we have been very busy with economics research seminars. Now there's some recent examples you can see there on the screen, but this is something that of course all students are welcome to. Range of guest speakers, range of topics, possibly some really relevant for further research or dissertations and things. Jing, there's a lot going on sort of outside the immediate curriculum in the economics department in Swansea. Is that fair to say? And do you attend these research seminars yourself too?
Yes. The research seminars are quite interesting. We invited experts outside the university, either in the industry or in the research center, in the academia research centers. And we have a very positive, very strong connections, the links with the experts outside Swansea University. Just now I saw a question, a very interesting question from the chat, and asking, do we have any collaborative work with Swansea Centre for Health Economics? I'm very proud to say that I used to work in Swansea Centre for Health Economics, the SCE team. It's a very good team, and we do keep in contact and trying to invite experts from the Swansea Centre for Health Economics joining for the research seminars, giving our postgraduate students some presentations about the research projects. And yes, and also we invited professors, researchers from other universities in the UK, delivering presentations about their own research, their forefront research, how they link their research into the industry, how they link their research into the policy making. So yes, these are all interesting seminars, and all of them are open to our postgraduate student and also the PhD students. So if you are even interested in doing a PhD, and you will find the research environment in the department is very friendly, it's very enthusiastic and very positive in the department.
Definitely, yeah. Thanks, Jing. And I think obviously some of these seminars they're obviously at the moment held over Zoom, but there's some fantastic names.
Yes.
Yeah, fantastic names, some fantastic topics in here, and I'm sure that many students in the past have found these very inspiring, and I'm sure that will continue to be the case too. We can't do an economics webinar without at least discussing careers for a moment, because I think and a lot of you watching who already have an interest in economics will know that at least in the UK, after medicine, economics graduates of economics always go on to have sort of the most financially rewarding careers post graduation. So let's have a quick look at careers now, and I've listed some on the left hand side, and that's barely scratches the surface really. I mean, Jing, what sort of careers are available, particularly for students who are graduating having done a master's in economics in particular?
Yes, that's another good question. And also actually in the Q&A, I saw another question about the job opportunities, and there's one question asking, will there be more jobs for economists after the pandemic? Personally, I think yes. The answer is quite positive. There will be more opportunities for candidates with economics backgrounds and skills. The quantitative analysis skills will definitely bring us the advantage in the job market, because we have the ability to analyze the data, build the model, analyze the data, bring out research outcomes, and then shape the policy. So that's for one side. I think there will be more opportunities, and for the other side, I think that relates to the research, because as we just discussed, the pandemic has reshaped, influenced the people's lives enormously. So there will be definitely more opportunities for students or candidates with economics background to find a job in a research center.
Perfect. Yeah, and that's particularly exciting. Certainly. Yeah, in terms of obviously careers, there is a huge amount of support at Swansea University. Those of you who are already students will be aware of these guys, and you'll have met them. Those guys who are smiling back at you on the screen. That is our employability team. They are bespoke to the School of Management, so their network is entirely relevant to students who are studying economics, as well as business and accounting and finance. So, they've got a specialist network, and they're there to help you using the influence from that network with everything from basic things like CVs, cover letters, interview techniques, to other things, online tests, some of those really tricky assessment centers, so on and so forth. So, you are in good hands, in terms of developing yourself ready for an exciting career afterwards. Particularly, as Jing has just mentioned, in this current sort of COVID influenced environment. Brilliant. We've got a couple of things to cover. Keep the questions coming. We've had some brilliant questions in already, and I will definitely make sure we've got time at the end to answer some of those. Very briefly, before we move on from careers, I just wanted to ask you, Nnamdi, and I'm putting you on the spot a little bit here, but do you know what sort of career you're looking for afterwards? Once you've graduated, is there a specific area that you're looking to get into?
Yeah, actually, it's my desire to actually specialize myself in the public sector. I really want to, be involved in government policies. So I'm looking at I'm finding a position, finding a place, in government institutions where I can take on the goals of research, and help, bring some solutions to the society's issue. Especially back there in Nigeria, we've had a whole lot of issues on ground, and institutional problems and the rest. Sometimes some of these problems arise, from economic problems, economic issues, theories, and systems. So I really want to bring back this knowledge in the public sector. Possibly also in the future coming, I also want to further more studies, looking at the doctorate level, looking at the econometric, side. That's where it's very difficult, it's very tight, looking, getting yourself abreast in macro, what's it called? Econometrics, that's a title. So basically, I just want to specialize or focus on the public sector. Thank you.
Brilliant. Oh, thanks, Nnamdi. And that's probably a good insight into the ambition that obviously Nnamdi holds, and a lot of students on these both the economics and finance programs hold. It goes back to what we discussed at the beginning, I suppose, influence, shaping decisions, shaping policy. Brilliant. Before we jump into questions, as well as covering off some information about scholarships, I just wanted to maybe put Nnamdi and Jing on the spot again, and just ask you both for a particular module highlight. So maybe Nnamdi, if you're happy to go first, what has been, obviously you're probably about a third, halfway through the program, the MSc Economics program at the moment. For you, Nnamdi, what has been your favorite module so far, and why is that?
Oh, basically, before coming here, I've always wanted to be abreast with economic theories, but definitely economic theories are actually wild, But on arriving to Swansea and with the lecture comments, I was so interested. I got to see another dimension, and that's on the part of the econometrics study. I'm introduced to a new software, the R. It's quite complicated, but I find it very interesting because getting to know the use of art makes you more professional. Before now, I've been more exposed and exposed to the use of e-views, SPSS. I am aware of Stata, but I've not really, specified. I've not really gone further in Stata, but I've never heard about R. So coming here, I got to find R, and it's a whole lot, and it's more of programming, and that keeps me almost all the time, doing something on my system. I'm engaged, and I always want to see another dimension. It's totally different for those who know the R software and know that about the e-views and Stata. You get to see a difference, totally of how they operate. E-views, I wouldn't say, I'm not bringing it down. It's more straightforward. But R is complicated, but if you know what you do, you're getting a very simplified output and the rest. So econometrics has always been engaging. I find it very interesting. I hope my lecturer Jane is not going to feel. I hope she's not going to feel bothered that I'm not, looking at her own module. That's microeconomics. Jane has been awesome. She's been wonderful. She makes microeconomics well simplified. I must give kudos to her. She's one of my lecturers, and she's been doing it quite, wonderful. And the good thing about her, she's always available at any time you call on her. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Namdi. Thank you. I'm glad you like my microeconomics. Yes, I'm going to mention that I teach microeconomics in the first attempt for a postgraduate student, and the contents covered in the microeconomics module have been divided into different sectors. So these consumers theory, the producers theory, then the game theory, and also something about the information economics, about the insurance market. So that's why I've emphasized, the structure of this postgraduate program helps candidates in the job market to find various types of jobs. They can work in the retail sector, they can work into like the public sector, they can work in the industry, like the energy economics, especially we deliver in a second term. The students can find jobs in the energy sector, and also financial sector, the insurance companies. So all these knowledges, all these skills students equipped will definitely bring positive, strong advantages for them in the job market.
Brilliant. Thank you, Jing. And that's our module highlight, a little section. We just wanted to bring you some of the most exciting aspects of the course. I will show you very quickly, just a brief overview of what you'll study on each program. We decided when we were putting this session together not to really labor this point. We want to talk to you about economics itself, not the nitty-gritty of the course. But here is an overview of the program nonetheless, so you get a bit of a feel, I suppose, of what you'd study. First of all, on the MSc Economics program there, and you can see, term one, you're going to focus on those critical aspects: macroeconomics, research methods, which of course will come into play for the dissertation at the end, and of course econometrics. In the second year, if you're on the MSc Economics course, you can choose any 4 of those 5 modules listed there too. Particularly, development economics, labor economics, health economics, energy economics, monetary economics. There's a lot of really exciting work and research going on in the background within those areas at present. Is that right, Jing? Yeah. So brilliant. So there we go. So that's the MSc Economics, and very quickly, MSc Economics and Finance. You'll see slightly different there. Now, I know it's a little bit text heavy, that second box, and I left it that way really to emphasize the sheer choice of modules that you have in the second term there. So, if you are looking to go down a slightly more sort of financially orientated route after you graduate, then there's some really exciting topics to get stuck into there in the second semester. So we're going to jump into your questions now, because I'm conscious of time, and there's some really good questions that have come in for Namdi and for Jing. I will mention very briefly the entry requirements, some of the household the household topics that we need to discuss. So of course, typically we would ask for a 2-1, or of course whatever the equivalent is in your home country in a related undergraduate degree discipline. So anything sort of within the area of economics, essentially. Applying itself, very straightforward. If you look at the course page on the website, it's free to apply. You hit the apply button and pop your details in, and of course keep in touch with us as you do so. And if you want to drop us an email somstudy@swansea.ac.uk once you've applied, and we can help everything go through for you. And I did, very important, want to mention scholarships as well. So of course we've got a couple of automatic scholarships. Now these are I should be very clear at this point of recording the session, not fully confirmed for September 2021. We're hoping that will be the case soon. So for those citizens of the countries that you can see on the slide there, will receive a £4,000 deduction from those fees. There are of course various other scholarship opportunities too through our IDO. So those are our colleagues in the international office, Swansea University. There's the International Excellence Scholarship, which is worth up to £4,000. And in the School of Management, there's our very own Developing Futures Scholarship too, which is worth up to £3,000. So when you look at those fees on the website, remember there's a lot of money to be saved there through applying for these scholarships as well. And I should mention too the new Study in Wales scholarship. The amount does vary here. It depends on nationality. It's actually not operated by us in Swansea University, rather it's operated through the Welsh government. But it's certainly an opportunity worth going for as well. So it goes without saying, of course, that you can keep in touch with us at any point if you have questions related to scholarships. But brilliant, we've got about 10 minutes left, so I want to dive into some of the questions we've got here, because we've had some really good questions throughout the session so far. Let's have a look. So I think we've answered the question. It's anonymous, so I'm going to assume it might have come through Facebook Live about the jobs available for economists. There's another one here. Jing, this might be a good one for you to tackle if you're happy to do so. And it asks, what is the most important topic studied on the Masters in Economics, which is most attractive to future employers? So the most important topic, Jing, what would you say?
Wow, that is a very good question. And the answer from myself is, I think it's your comprehensive research ability, your analysis ability. So obviously it is not a very specific, a very detailed answer what is the most important topic, actually, because it links to the whole picture. So what you studied from the theory and how you apply to analyze the issue. So it's a comprehensive issue. So it's your research ability, how you understand the phenomenon, how you could research, investigate into the phenomenon. And I believe you will receive a very comprehensive, complicated trainings on that at Swansea University. And I do believe you will have that research ability once you finish the year.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Jing. I should say as well, I should have shared this a minute ago, submit your questions, keep them coming. We've got lots of good ones already, but do keep them coming. We'll try and answer them during the session, and if we can't, we'll certainly get an answer back to you afterwards. Do take note of our email address too, somstudy@swansea.ac.uk. This email address, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, it's always going to be there for you, and we'll be able to answer your questions as soon and as quickly as we can. So make a note of that, because you never know, later in the year you might have further queries too. But yes, for now, if you're on Zoom, use the Q&A tab, comment on Facebook Live, or of course drop us an email if you're watching the recorded version. Okay, let's have a look for another question. I'm very quickly going to answer Jawad's question, which asked, when are we going to receive amendments on our offers after passing the SWELT test? Jawad, that should be happening very soon, sort of over the next day or two, I would imagine. What I would say, Jawad, if you want to discuss your own application specifically, again, pop us an email on that address on screen with your student number, and if you've passed your SWOT test, and we'll get your offer updated straight away. So yeah, thanks, Jawad. Let's have a look. Namdi, this is a good question, and again, I think this might have come through Facebook. It's an anonymous question. Namdi, what has the support from lecturers been like as you're studying virtually during the pandemic? So yeah, that's an interesting one. You are in Swansea though, aren't you, Namdi?
Yeah. Actually, it's been very supportive. I just mentioned giving kudos to Jane. Despite the pandemic, the inability to actually meet with lecturers one-on-one, the university makes use of the online, the virtual system, and it's been so helpful as much as the university can. And like I said, at every given time you need any support, the university and the lecturers are there to support you. I was surprised at the quick response of lecturers as much as they can. When you send messages to them via emails, they will try to respond quickly. And it's encouraging, as well as they have a consultation where you can meet them on Zoom and discuss whatever you have with them, and they give you the best support. If there need be for any physical, then maybe they can find a way of find a way to assist you if that platform isn't working. But I must say it's been commendable and it's been stress-free.
That's great. No, that's good to hear, because it has been a challenging time. And for you, Jing, how to flip that question, I suppose, how have you found supporting students in this difficult environment at the moment?
Yes, it is. It is a difficult year, both for students and academic staff, but we try to provide as much as we can. Just in addition to Namdi mentioned, although we have most of the stuff moved on to online, we still have in-person session. That's the module workshop. So we still provide face-to-face teaching during the term for 2 weeks. So for each module, there were 2 module workshops in the term. So we meet students, answer the questions in person, which personally I found is very, very effective and productive. So I can quickly spot what the problem students have, and then answer the questions directly rather than replying their email. But we still keep in contact. We still communicate via Zoom. I have my consultation hours on Zoom, so students can reach me through the link I provided. And also I pick up the emails every day and answer the emails. I make every effort to answer to reply students' email within the same day, so they can use the time efficiently. So I believe other my colleagues in the department, they do the same. They reply students' email, they quickly respond to the questions, and they provide online support. And also, like Namdi mentioned just now, the econometrics module, our Dr. Hani Mahmet, he's the module coordinator for the econometrics module. He has his own media channel, so he could interact with students, provide extra support as well, but in addition to what he provides in the module. So I think that would be the support, the environment we created for our students.
Definitely, that's fantastic. Yeah, thank you, Jing. A good question has come in as well. I'm conscious of time, so we've got a couple of minutes, so I'll try and keep it quite short. But Melisa, I hope I've got your name right there, Melisa, says, I like a hard and serious teaching style. Did you think you've enjoyed a concrete teaching and learning environment at Swansea University? And that's probably a good one for you, Namdi. If you feel able to answer that one, what's your experience so far?
Actually, studying right now during the pandemic is a hard teaching style, because I don't understand. I may not understand how you mean a hard teaching style, but I for one feel this season is a hard teaching style. So you just have to blend into a new system, online, everything is virtually is done virtually. So you might not be able to get used to what we normally have, the in-person. You meet your colleagues in a classroom and you all learn together. Here you will be learning just yourself, with yourself and your lecturer and the rest. And so for me as a person, it took me time to have to blend into it, but after doing that, it's interesting. So it's whatever it may be, it depends whatever you're looking at, but surely whatever it is, once is there to give you that.
Yeah, thanks, Namdi. And on that note, I'm going to be big-headed. I should share that, as you can see, hopefully now on the screen, Swansea University is awarded the TEF Gold certificate. Now, that is the highest award for teaching excellence at UK universities, and it is something well worth bearing in mind when you're looking at different options, different universities. That's a big award, and it's something that we're incredibly proud of in Swansea too. So yeah, hopefully that helps Melissa there. I think we're just about out of time now. It's flown by, this session. It always does. Now, I should certainly say that it's obviously the end of the session, but it's not the last point for you to get in touch with us and ask us lots of questions. So please do. I'm going to just flash our contact details up on the screen once again now. But yeah, huge thank you to everyone who's joined us today on the session, who sent in loads and loads of brilliant questions. We've got through as many as we can, but if we haven't answered your question, there are those contact details. So please do, please do keep in touch with us. Basically, you can see, we're happy to book a one-to-one. If you drop an email on that to that address there, then me or one of my colleagues can arrange a Zoom call with you to discuss your own potential application or your own circumstances in a little bit more detail there. I should also say huge thanks to Dr. Jing Shao and Namdi for coming along and sharing their stories today as well. So yeah, thank you very much both. And was there anything else you wanted to add before we do wrap the session up today?
I just would like to add that if you have any questions related to the program structure, to like Melissa just asked, the teaching style, the learning style, feel free to drop me an email. My email address is jing.shaw@swansea.ac.uk. You can also find my information on the school website. So feel free to drop me an email if you have any questions. And just a little bit addition to Melissa asked about the teaching and learning style. In the department, our teaching is led by the research. So you will experience, you will see, or you will learn how we link the research into the real teaching, how your lectures, the professors' research outcomes would help the industry, help the policy, and you can get into that situation and see how you would be the same. So yes, it would be an interesting, and also it would be a memorable experience for a whole year. Thanks, James.
Definitely, thanks, Jing. And I've just seen one question's popped in and it says, my question's not been answered, Butler. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, whoever is come in anonymously, so I can't identify your question. But like I say, keep in touch with us. This isn't us not wanting to answer your question. We'll do our best to get back to you. I know this one's anonymous, so I might not be able to dig your contact details up afterwards. But please do send us a message to that address on screen, and we'll certainly answer that question, and we'll answer any others that you've got as well. And I'm sorry that we have to wrap up. Time's flown by today, but yeah, huge thanks to everyone for coming, and huge thanks again to Namdi and Jing. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.